Static stretching. Holding a muscle in a fully elongated position before a workout is standard gym practice. Lifters believe it relaxes the tissue and prevents muscle tears under heavy loads. Anatomical research reveals a direct performance penalty. Static stretching for longer than 30 seconds sedates your central nervous system. It temporarily reduces the motor drive sent from the brain to the skeletal muscles. This dampens the electrical signal required for maximum motor unit recruitment. Furthermore, it decreases the elastic stiffness of the muscle tendon unit. This stiffness is vital for transferring force from the muscle fibers to the bones. When the stiffness is compromised, your capacity to generate mechanical tension is significantly impaired. You experience a temporary reduction in explosive power and strength output. The muscle becomes less efficient at handling high resistance. Epidemiological studies confirm that pre-workout static stretching does not decrease injury rates. It only leaves the target fibers weaker before the first set. Muscle soreness. Waking up with severe soreness is frequently celebrated as the mark of a successful workout. Many believe that if a muscle does not hurt, it will not grow. Biochemical analysis shows that soreness is an unreliable indicator of hypertrophy. Delayed onset muscle soreness is primarily caused by inflammation in the connective tissues. This occurs when microdamage is inflicted during the eccentric phase of an exercise. While structural microtears can trigger a mild repair signal, they are not the primary driver of muscle adaptation. Hypertrophy is stimulated by mechanical tension acting on the cell membranes. You can achieve maximum tension and optimal muscle growth without experiencing any soreness. In fact, excessive soreness impairs subsequent training performance. It limits your range of motion and decreases your ability to recruit high-threshold motor units. This forces you to reduce your training volume and frequency. Chasing pain does not optimize biological adaptation. It only delays recovery and reduces overall efficiency. Fasted cardio. Performing aerobic exercise on an empty stomach is believed to accelerate fat loss. The theory suggests that low insulin levels force the body to burn fat instead of carbohydrates. Under laboratory conditions, this metabolic assumption fails. Fasted cardio does increase fat oxidation during the active period of exercise. However, the human engine compensates for this shift later in the day. During the remaining 24 hours, the body increases carbohydrate oxidation and decreases fat burning. Net fat loss is determined solely by total energy balance at the end of the day. Additionally, training in a fasted state raises cortisol levels significantly. This elevated stress hormone promotes muscle protein breakdown. Your body begins to metabolize its own structural proteins for energy. Fasted cardio does not alter your long-term body composition more than fed cardio. It simply increases the risk of losing lean mass while performing identical work. Spot reduction. Lifters perform hundreds of abdominal crunches to burn fat around the midsection. They believe that contracting a muscle will directly consume the adipose tissue surrounding it. Human physiology operates on a systemic level, not a localized one. Contracting a specific muscle does increase blood flow and lipolysis in the immediate area. However, the amount of fat released is physiologically insignificant. Your body cannot select the location from which it mobilizes fatty acids for fuel. Fat mobilization is governed by systemic hormones circulating in the bloodstream. These hormones act on receptors distributed across all adipose tissue. Your genetic blueprint dictates which fat deposits are mobilized first and which are mobilized last. Performing local abdominal exercises will strengthen the rectus abdominis, but it will not reduce the fat layer overlaying it. Energy deficit reduces fat stores globally, regardless of which muscle is contracting underneath. The anabolic window. Supplement marketing insists you must consume protein within 30 minutes of your workout. If you miss this window, the marketing claims your muscles will enter a catabolic state. Anatomy demonstrates a much longer recovery timeline. The intracellular pathways that signal for muscle protein synthesis remain active for 24 to 48 hours post-workout. Your body is in a state of heightened sensitivity to amino acids for this entire duration. The urgency to drink a fast-digesting protein shake immediately after the final repetition is artificial.
Daily total protein intake is the critical factor for muscle repair and hypertrophy. Consuming protein at regular intervals every 3 to 5 hours is highly efficient. Rushing to consume nutrients before leaving the gym floor offers no measurable physiological advantage. It is a commercial myth designed to promote the sale of expensive, fast-absorbing powders.
Your biology operates on a continuous cellular clock, not a 30-minute countdown. Detraining. Many believe that if you stop lifting weights, your existing muscle will transform into fat. They assume that inactive muscle cells physically alter their structure to store lipids. This is a biological impossibility. Skeletal muscle and adipose tissue are composed of entirely different cell types. They possess unique structures, functions, and genetic code. One cell type cannot morph into another. When you stop training, your body stops receiving the mechanical tension stimulus required to maintain large fibers. The muscle tissue undergoes atrophy to conserve energy. Simultaneously, if your caloric intake remains high while your energy expenditure drops, you accumulate excess fat. Your muscle size decreases while your fat storage increases. These two biological processes occur independently. You are not converting muscle into fat. You are simply losing structural protein while gaining stored triacylglycerols.
Sweating. Sweating profusely during a workout is often equated with burning fat. Lifters wear heavy sweat clothing or sit in saunas to maximize this effect. This practice confusion is based on a misunderstanding of human thermoregulation. Sweat is 99% water, containing trace amounts of sodium, potassium, and minerals. Its only function is to cool the body's surface through evaporation. It contains no fat molecules. Furthermore, sweating is not a mechanism for filtering metabolic waste. That function is performed exclusively by your liver and kidneys. The weight loss experienced after heavy sweating is entirely due to acute fluid loss. This water weight is immediately restored once you consume liquids. Artificially increasing your body temperature does not accelerate fat oxidation. It only increases cardiovascular strain and leads to dehydration. This dehydration reduces your strength capacity and compromises training efficiency.
The cutting rep range. Gym lore teaches that high repetitions define muscles, while low repetitions build size. Lifters perform 15 to 20 repetitions with light weights when attempting to lose fat. Biomechanical evidence rejects this distinction. Muscular definition is the result of low body fat levels and sufficient muscle mass. It is not controlled by the number of repetitions you perform. Research shows that muscle growth is similar across all repetition ranges, from 5 to 30. However, this only occurs if the sets are taken close to muscular failure. Using very light weights for high repetitions increases systemic fatigue and cardiorespiratory distress. This central fatigue reduces the neural drive to your high-threshold motor units. As a result, the target fibers receive less mechanical tension. To preserve muscle tissue during a caloric deficit, you must maintain heavy loading.
High reps with light weights fail to provide the mechanical stimulus required to preserve mass. Your physiology does not conform to the beliefs popular in gym culture. It is governed by the physical laws of mechanical tension and energy balance. The most effective training protocol is not the one that creates the greatest fatigue. It is the one that aligns with your biological blueprint.